the United Kingdom government decided to hand over the Chagos Islands, an archipelago in the Indian Ocean, to Mauritius by signing a deal. While the British people got angry at the deal, US welcomed it, India supported it, and Mauritius welcomed the deal and thanked India for the support too. So what's so special about a few tiny islands in the middle of the Indian Ocean that are even hard to find on the map and yet hold significant strategic value? And what's India's role in the deal? Let's find out. Hello guys, I am Saurav and welcome to the Arc. The Chagos Archipelago, comprising of 7 atolls with about 60 individual islands, is situated in the middle of the Indian Ocean, off the southern tip of India and to the south of the Maldives. It is about 750 kilometers away from the Maldives, 2100 kilometers from Mauritius, and about 2000 kilometers away from Seychelles. Britain first took control of the Chagos Archipelago in 1814 from the French. It was part of Mauritius when it was a British colony. But before Mauritius gained independence from the British, the United Kingdom, considering its strategic location, detached the Chagos Islands from colonial Mauritius and retained it for themselves and renamed it as the British Indian Ocean Territory in 1965. The UK paid £3 million to Mauritius for the Chagos Islands, which Mauritius later argues in its case against the UK that it was done illegally and forcefully by the UK, being the colonial power ruling the country. But what happened to the inhabitants of the islands? They were forcefully removed by the UK. Thousands of people then living on the islands were indigenous Chagosian people who had African or Malagasy origin. Most were brought to the islands by the French colonialists in the late 18th century for coconut plantation. Now here is another instance of tyranny and thuggery of colonial Britain. Britain knew they were permanent inhabitants of the islands. But if it had accepted that, then as per UN Charter, Chapter 11, Article 73, Declaration regarding non-self-governing territories, it was the responsibility of the UK towards the inhabitants to establish self-governance from colonial rule. To bypass this, the UK government issued temporary residence permits to the indigenous Chagosian people on their own land, declaring them non-residents and thereby circumventing the UN Charter. So where did they go? In 1967, a year before Mauritius' independence, Britain began forced removal of people from the Chagos Islands. As per records, about 1500 to 1800 Chagosians were sent to the Seychelles, Mauritius, and later to the UK too. A UK Foreign Office memo in 1966 stated that the object of its plan for the Chagos Islands, quote, was to get some rocks which will remain ours. There will be no indigenous population except seagulls. The most critical reason behind the Chagos Islands deal is the UK-US military base at Diego Garcia Island. But what's so special about this remote island in the Indian Ocean, where civilians can't enter? In the late 1960s, Britain invited the US to build a military base in Diego Garcia, the largest of the Chagos Islands. In return, the US agreed to a $14 million discount on the UK's purchase of its Polaris nuclear missiles. The US then leased the island from the UK and established a huge military base there. Though the territory is administered by the UK, most personnel and resources there are under the control of the US. The US-UK security base is currently home to approximately 2,500 US personnel and some of the most sophisticated military equipment. It serves as a key logistics hub, supporting naval ships and submarine operations, air operations, and intelligence gathering. Recently, multiple nuclear-capable B-2 stealth bombers of the US were spotted in Diego Garcia amid an intense US airstrike campaign targeting Yemen's Houthi rebels. The development is significant considering the ongoing Israel-Iran conflict. The base has been instrumental in US military operations, ranging from the Vietnam War to the conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan. In 2008, the US acknowledged that the base had also been used for secret rendition operation flights involving terror suspects. There are also rumors that the Diego Garcia base has been used as a CIA black site to house and interrogate terror suspects. Now the UK's sovereignty over Diego Garcia and the entire Chagos Islands has been in question since Mauritius' independence in 1968. In 2019, the International Court of Justice ruled that Mauritius' decolonization from Britain was not lawfully complete without the Chagos Archipelago, and that the UK should return the islands as rapidly as possible. Though the ruling was advisory, it was endorsed overwhelmingly by the United Nations General Assembly in favor of UK giving up its sovereignty over the islands. Then in 2021, ruling of the Special Chamber of the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea was also against the UK in the context of the Chagos Archipelago. It made UK's position untenable, and finally in 2022, UK decided to start discussions with Mauritius over the Chagos Island sovereignty under Rishi Sunak's government. Finally, on 22nd May, the UK government under Keir Starmer signed an agreement with Mauritius to hand over sovereignty of the Chagos Islands to Mauritius. Now, this is not a complete transfer of sovereignty, and there are many minute details within the deal. As per the deal, though the sovereignty over all the Chagos Archipelago lies with Mauritius, UK will retain its authority over the Diego Garcia Island and the UK-US military base initially for 99 years, for which the UK will pay Mauritius an annual average of £101 million for 99 years, totaling about £3.4 billion. The lease period can be extended by another 40 years if agreed by both the parties. It also includes a £40 million trust fund to support the Chagosian people. Mauritius may also resettle Chagosians in all the islands in the archipelago, except Diego Garcia. As per the agreement, the UK has to inform Mauritius of any armed attack on a third state, directly emanating from the base on Diego Garcia. UK's Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer said the deal was absolutely vital to secure the UK-US military base in Diego Garcia in case of a future binding legal judgment affecting UK's position.
I signed a deal to secure the joint UK-US base on Diego Garcia. This is absolutely vital for our defence and intelligence, and therefore for the safety and security of the British people.
The Conservatives have criticized the deal, stating it will give more leverage to China. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio said in a post on X that the US welcomed the agreement. Mauritian Prime Minister Naveen Ramagulam said the deal was a great victory for the Mauritian nation. But what's India's role in the deal? As per reports, India played a quiet but crucial role in the Chagos Islands deal between the UK and Mauritius. India was involved in back-channel diplomacy with the US and UK regarding the deal, with an aim to restrict China's influence in the region. India has consistently supported Mauritius' claim for sovereignty over Chagos, in line with its principal stand on decolonization, as well as its long-standing and close partnership with Mauritius. Mauritius has a thriving Indo-Mauritian community, whose ancestors were indentured laborers from Bihar, UP and other areas, brought here by colonial Britain. This deal is crucial from India's point of view, because Indian Ocean is India's backyard, and considering China's increasing naval presence in the Indian Ocean and military base in Djibouti, India is increasing its partnership with Indian Ocean countries like Maldives, Mauritius and Seychelles. This outreach is part of India's Security and Growth for All in the region, or SAGAR initiative, launched in 2015, which is a geopolitical framework of maritime cooperation in the Indian Ocean region. So the Chagos Islands deal is done. Diego Garcia still remains with the US and UK. But can we expect India building some kind of facility in other islands in collaboration with Mauritius in the near future to increase its footprint in the Indian Ocean? Let's see. Thanks for watching. Keep following the ARC for more such interesting videos.